It's got the remuneration paper.
Yeah, remuneration paper. Oh, we haven't got Paul here.
It's an important item.
Well, we haven't got the... where is he? Is he going to... You'll have to do it, Andrew.
Take it as read. Yeah, no, actually, that's a very good suggestion, Councillor Belford.
Okay, so we got...
No, I will get Paul to just spend 30 seconds on it. He should be here. I know he was around.
Can I just say, I don't think we should wait. I think we should box roll people.
Here he is. Paul, we're waiting for you, mate. Okay, item 7, councillors' remuneration and allowances. You've all read the paper that's before you, and you've all read the attachment, but I still would like the jury to give us 2 minutes.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This paper is an information paper, as it's turned out. The two main reasons putting it up. The last determination that covers remuneration and expenses, I thought you should all be aware of some of the terms and conditions of that legislation. I know that previous councillors were. So I put down the salaries of the chairperson and deputy chair, etc. The important bit here for me was that the determination provided for 5 committee chairs, and that point was relevant. And I've said here that if indeed there were payments to 6 committee chairs, that excludes the deputy chairperson, then we would have to go back to the remuneration authority. There would have to be a further determination, which causes delays. So I think it was important for you to understand that process. And as Councillor Belford indicated before, one payment, even if you've got two chairmanships or 2 levels of responsibility. Now, counting down the number of chairs appointed, there's 4 chairs appointed, or 4 payments for chairs to be made, because we have the finance, audit and risk as part of the responsibilities for corporate and strategic. So there's 4 payments for chairpersons. The determination that's been put through provides for 5, so we're within our determination within the Act. So there's no need to go back to the Remuneration Authority and seek any adjustment at the moment. I've also set out there that the latest expenses policy have been sent to the 2 new members, Councillor Curtin and Councillor Bailey. The rest of the members already have that, and they adopted it back in May, and that's gone to the Remuneration Authority and has been adopted. So I've just put that in for note as well. So that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions or comments on the paper? Councillor? And a seconder? Any further discussion? We have a mover and a seconder. We'll put the motion. We accept the paper. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Motion is carried. We accept it. Appointments to members. Item 8. Outside. As everyone's aware, there are certain organisations in Hawke's Bay which we have people associated with, and members attend the committees, relevant committees. The first one is the representative to the Cycling Governance Group. And I guess what I'm really keen to do is to find out who's got a particular passion and interest in these various things, and see whether they can get support of the council. So in terms of the paper, which is quite clear, and do we need any discussion around the paper?
I'll just make the point, Mr. Chairman, that the Cycling Governance Group reports its meeting minutes through to the Regional Transport Committee. And possibly, ideally, could or should be a member of the RTC, but it's not essential. What Councillor Wilson thinks about that.
Yeah. Staff, does anyone want any particular comment on this paper, or we just accept it as it is?
I think accepted as there is input from at both a cycling strategy level and on the sort of more operational issue level as well. So it involves largely Anne Redstone, but also to some extent people in my group.
Okay, so we're looking for someone to represent us on the cycling governance group.
I nominate Paul Bailey.
I would second that, since he's already shown a true interest today. Put your foot in it there, so you're on. Do we have any other nominations for that committee? It comes with a bicycle. We don't. So all those in favour of Paul Bailey representing us on the cycling governance group, say aye. Against? No one. That is motion is carried. Paul, you're it. 2 representatives to the Heretaunga Plains Urban Strategy Implementation Working Group. Man, that's a biggie too. Who was on that last time?
So, Alan Dick and I have been on this committee that, I guess, through all the last 3 years and probably prior to that, actually. So that would be probably the sensible thing if both of us are willing to do it. Peter Bevan, on the other hand, has raised a great deal of concern about whether HPUDS has been doing an adequate job, and he might wish to take my place.
I nominate Councillors Belfast and
I would second that. Are you happy for that? I would second that. Are there any other nominations? There are none. All those in favour of Belford and Dick going forward and continuing that role? Aye. Aye. I just want to make a comment. This is of particular interest to our community at the moment. A lot of expansion going on Heretaunga Plains soils that a lot of people are getting very titchy about. So you've got a big job ahead of you, and I'll be following that really closely, I can tell you both. I didn't follow it closely before, but I intend to from now on. There's some jumping of the fence occurring, which we don't want to occur. Okay, 2.3, TB Free, that has traditionally been the chair of the environmental, and so I would nominate the chair, which happens to be Tom Belford now, to sit on that committee. Do we have a seconder? Seconder. Do we have any contrary view?
It's not a contrary view, and I'm happy to take the assignment, but Mike and I have had an exchange. This has become a more staff-level engagement, and I'm happy with that, but I will pay attention to it.
All those in favour? Aye, and so it's carried. I disagree with that point of view. I sat on that committee, and there's a lot of big decisions, and I'm really looking forward to hearing your approach to 1080.
I am
And
the
we'll move on now. That didn't require a comment. It's just okay. 2.4. One represented on the Hawke's Bay Drought Committee.
I nominate for the chair Rex Graham.
I would decline that. I would like Fenton.
Well, I'd decline.
You
Sorry,
would
Chair.
decline?
It's the big boss's role. Sorry. And I'm
Okay.
happy to second you as being that member.
Okay, that's a really biggie too. Okay.
You don't have to go to the Osprey meetings anymore.
I enjoyed the Osprey meetings. Don't get me wrong.
But I agree with Councillor Wilson that if the province is for the drought, you need people up there who carry the weight of the office to do it.
We'll have a dam.
Okay, no more quips from you. So I've been nominated. There's no one else. All those in favour that the chair takes that? And that's moved. I will do that job. A representative to the Hawke's Bay Tourism Board of Directors. I would nominate Councillor Wilson. Oh, took it. I missed it. I'm ticking things I shouldn't tick.
And I have a question. This group has kind of merged into a different purpose than what is written down here now.
Chair, I'd agree, and actually our implementation policy requirement under change 6 probably takes over this. So you could choose to either leave it laying on the table and we could come back and report on that, or you could remove it. But we don't facilitate this group currently.
Can I suggest that line the table to the next meeting, council, for final decision? That's a good idea.
So what this group has now been meeting to discuss is the gravel situation, pretty much.
Okay, we have a mover and a seconder to leave it lie on the table. All those in favour? Against? Carried. So, Tourism Board. So I'd like to nominate Councillor Wilson to represent us on the Tourism Board, seconded by Councillor Dick. Is there any other nominations for the Tourism Board?
Does he have any experience in travel?
Land-based.
All those in favour? Aye. And tourism, which is probably our biggest industry in Hawke's Bay, it needs big focus. Thank you, Councillor, for doing that.
Just interrupt for a second.
Yeah, you can.
Can I please just ask that everyone uses their microphones, because the implications of not is that you make lots of motion on the film, but on the web you can't hear a sound.
And I'm sure thousands and thousands are watching that webcam, so can you please use your microphones? Plus, Mrs. Graham can't hear. Thank you. Thanks, good. So we've done tourism. The Hawke's Bay Sports Council, that's another biggie too. Do we have any, apart from me, there's a big interest in that? We must have somebody who is really keen to get involved in the Sports Council.
Chair, could I be provocative and move that this lie on the table? I was the council's rep at the beginning of the last training for a term, but just because of other things, I couldn't make all the attendances I should have, so I dropped out. But the times that I did go, I was left struggling as to understand why we needed a councillor there. It didn't, in my view, deal with policy issues particularly. The chief executive attended all the meetings, and the chief executive did all of the talking on behalf of the council. I just thought to myself, well, time. I was unconvinced by it at the end, so I think we should have a think about this.
Any other views?
I don't think it needs
Councillor
representation.
Wilson, you certainly have a
governance
view
needs.
on this, do you?
Yeah, well, I sat on it for a few years ago now, Chair. You do have all the other councils there with councillors with political representation, and it is useful having that regional overview. I do accept what Councillor Barker says. The Chief Executive is, integral in that conversation, but I do think we will be a big gap at the table if there's no political representation, in my view.
In 2 minutes, can you tell us what it does?
Well, it does lots of things with sport, Mr. Chair. So that's it. No, it does. It does a range of things. Looks at how sports are going, how they're tracking, the relevance or otherwise, or the need or otherwise for some of the sports facilities. It does try and give it more of a regional overview than the individual council needs, which tend to focus on district, obviously. It has been, dare I say it, quite a good conduit for Wairoa to get a seat round that table and understand what happens down here. And we have seen some growth, if you like, in participation from some of our children in particular in Hawke's Bay sports, not solely because of that committee, but that certainly does help. So it does have some relevance, and Wairoa District Council take it very seriously. They send their deputy chair or chair down, mayor rather, deputy mayor or mayor, I should say, down to that. So.
Does this body try to seek any consensus on hierarchy of needs, facilities-wise? And, I mean, is this a group that might actually take a view collectively on whether we need facility A here and B there, or two of everything, or what have you?
Yeah, to a point, their influence is limited, dare I say it. It's more sort of operational stuff, and not so much the big ticket items. So, yeah, I guess it was quite a good conduit to talk around the sports park and the hockey facility. There was quite a bit of discussion around that there, elsewhere as well, but and certainly around this table all those years ago. But yeah, it is relevant, and I think we should still be there. But I'm happy to leave it on the table. I'd be happy to second that. Let's perhaps have a wee think about this, and perhaps, dare I say it, Chair, you might be able to talk to some of your mayoral colleagues and see what their views are.
So just a question, which is anecdotal really. Do you think it ever influenced anyone?
Depending what level.
And
Yes,
Councillor Barker?
yes, I think it did.
It did. Yeah. Councillor Barker?
Well, my experience with it wasn't sufficient to be able to say usefully whether it influenced someone or not. But I found all the discussions to be at the operational level. These were things about how you manage this and that. Now, there wasn't anything there at the governance level. And my observation has been that when there's ever been a big decision or a decision about sports facilities, it has always been taken upstairs at a different level, never discussed or never had any influence by that committee at all. This will be decisions by mayors and councillors. I think about the sports parks, swimming pools, all the rest of it. It's well beyond those sorts of discussions or influences, well beyond the level of that committee. This seemed to me to be about how's hockey tracking, how's rugby tracking, what are you doing here, how the sports field's going. This is the operational side of it. If a council feels they want to be involved with it, away you go. But my view was, I didn't think it was worth the chip.
The other question I have is how regularly does it meet? What's the onus on the councillor? I know Councillor Barker wasn't able to attend some meetings, but...
Yeah, I think it was quarterly, but
quarterly.
Ms Lambert would be able to tell us. She's not here. So, no.
It's in the paper, Chair, that it's quarterly.
It's quarterly. Okay, I'll put my name forward to sit on this committee.
I'll nominate you.
Thank you.
Happily.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Well done.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so point 2.8 is really confirming the chair to represent the council at these various inter-council meetings. So do I have a mover for 2.8?
Just a question. If you wish someone to represent council at these meetings, if you're unavailable or possibly not going to be there, do you think you need a mandate here, or are you just happy to delegate that as required?
I am happy to delegate that as required, and that will be required, and I would probably, as I have indicated, I will be leaning heavily on the services of the Deputy Chair and yourself.
Okay.
Is Council happy with that?
Well, could I put it this way? I'm happy that in this instance where the chair feels unable to attend, that to use an old phrase, it's the captain's call. And if the captain says, this is who I want to go and do that, I'd accept it. I just think it's as simple as that, in my view.
Yeah, I think I just said that, different.
But you said it with two things. It might be that neither of us are able. You might think that someone else is better suited to do the job. You just call it.
Well, hopefully either of you two will be available.
I see here that councillors can attend. Can the agenda for the zone committee meetings be circulated?
Don't see why not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Leanne could just make an action item on that. So that we
And just, can we have a mover?
Yes, I'm happy to move.
Move, seconder? Second. All those in favour? Aye. I just want to make a comment there that, and I want to thank Councillor Wilson for attending the meeting on my behalf. in Wellington last week, and it's really helpful and that he was able to do that, and I really appreciate that. We want to be a council that delegates to all of our members, regardless of who we are, really. Because just as a comment on that, I don't think there's a council in New Zealand that has the talent and experience around the table that we have. I'll miss someone out here, but we have 2 ex-cabinet ministers, we have 1 ex-mayor, we have 2 ex-chairmen of this council, we have 1 person who was chair of the World Apple Committee. So we have extensive experience. I'm not mentioning one councillor's political connections into the US Washington sector. It's very popular at the moment, but we have very substantial and interesting group of people around this table and capable of stepping up at any time. So I'm very privileged to be in that position. Okay, we've finished that paper, aren't we? Thank you very much. We will move to item 9,